How's everyone doing today? Good. Well, we're starting the season undefeated, which is always a nice feeling, albeit 1-0. But good first win, and I think you saw kind of results around the country. You know, the first opening weekend can be a little shaky, and so we fought off some of that in the first set and able to put together a couple of nice sets and plays after that, and in a pretty hostile environment. Hats off to NIU for putting out a good crowd, and it's nice to start off the season 1-0, especially with some of the early season changes we had to make.
Questions for Coach?
Do you have any more changes to the roster perhaps coming?
Right now, it's just as you saw fit. That's kind of what we're looking at. So for the time being, that's what the roster we got is what we got.
So you're not going to make any additions to the roster?
At this moment, no.
What was different maybe about Saturday compared to the exhibition, just in terms of execution?
Well, I think I said it after the exhibition. Exhibition is exhibition, and we were looking for how people responded in different scenarios. So even though we were pushing our exhibition, that's kind of the way you want it. You don't want to just steamroll whoever you got. I mean, you want to obviously, but you're going to have to see how people respond in certain scenarios and in different positions. And I think I told you after the match, I was looking for a response, not necessarily a result. And obviously, you're looking for both. But once you kind of see how those pieces fit and how they look when they're out there, that's kind of what was helping guide what our first lineup was going to be. Normally, you get that in the spring. In this case, our rules change a little bit this year, so we're able to have a scrimmage. Traditionally, just an open practice or orange versus blue or something like that. And so I was happy to have the opening scrimmage to kind of figure out some things and put out a roster that was capable of winning.
Coach, who you have coming up next, and what's some of the challenges?
Who's coming up next? Valparaiso on Tuesday. That's a home opener. And then we've got Wichita State on Friday, and we have Illinois State on Sunday. And all very good mid-major teams, all successful programs. We were looking to put together a schedule where you had teams with high winning percentages. That helps with your IPI as you go through the season. And and they're very good teams that are either at the tournament or they're knocking on the door every single year. And so every team you're going to play is going to give you a different challenge. They're going to give you a different look, and your team has to respond to it. And so it's going to be very much show the chess match of coaching, I think, and obviously execution as well. But I'm happy the way the team responded this last weekend, and we're going to have to make some of those same adjustments during the game as we move forward.
What does preparation look like with a densely packed week with 3 matches in 5 days?
Yeah, that's, again, a different thing that we have this year. Traditionally, you get 28 days to play 32 games or whatever, however many games you want, but we had 28 days of competition. This year, we have 32 days of competition that we're allowed to fulfill, which, again, allows for the scrimmage. And so now it's just we're going to play like every second or third day. And so as opposed to playing, we're all going to play 3 on over 2 days in one weekend and then have a week leading up. Now it's coming up a little bit faster. So yesterday was off. Today was prep for Valpo. Tomorrow's Valpo. Slight rest, but you still got to get your reps in and try to tinker with what works, what doesn't work, and go from there. And so it's just a little bit more probably prep work, a little less of being on the floor, which not always ideal, but every coach is going through this right now. And if you looked at comments from this last weekend, you saw a couple of coaches being like, I don't like playing 3 days in a row. But I didn't like playing 3 games in 2 days. So, you're going to find that balance, whatever you see fit for your team. And it's part of the benefit of being in our geography as we are. We can get to teams in a day, come back and still play and still find quality opponents. So I think it's a good thing.
For you as a staff, do you try to evaluate game to game? I'm sure you do, but is it more like look at it as a chunk after this first week is done and do some more evaluation there?
Yeah, I think you're always trying to look at big picture, of course, but for me, I've always been kind of it's one day at a time, and whoever's up next is up next, and you try to obviously plan what your recovery is going to look like after that and whatnot. But if you have a 5-setter, that's different than having a 3-setter, and it kind of you have to be able to adjust pretty quickly. And so for right now, Valpo's the next opponent. We had a nice practice this morning, and we hopefully come out with a win tomorrow against Valpo.
Caroline going to be available tomorrow?
At the moment, does not look like it. She's going through concussion protocol right now. So,
I guess Lily got the start of Libero. What did she improve in the spring or in your 2 weeks of practice to get?
Yeah, she's been really impressive. And if you watch the match, I mean, she's flying around back there. She's doing a nice job of just kind of leading the backcourt, and she's still going to make some kind of green mistakes a little bit, and she's going to have to learn, kind of as playing this level of play. But she's done a really nice job adjusting and kind of commanding the backcourt and responding well to the new role. It's not easy just to get thrown in there and being in there next to some veterans like Raina. And so she's done a really nice job of just being a great teammate. We always harp on doing your best, being a great teammate, and she definitely does that.
What did you see out of Brooke in match one?
Yeah, Brooke, again, a player that played a lot for us last year in a different position. Now she's playing the one I recruited her for. And she's a very good setter, a talented setter. We've had a list of talented setters since I've been here, and obviously before I was here as well. And so it's just another great setter in the line of setters that we've had here at Illinois. I think one of the biggest things she brings is still a lot of flexibility. We had her hit in a couple rotations. She's active at the net. She's taught herself how to hit left-handed, so she can hit both righty and lefty. And she can do it on command, so it's pretty impressive to watch. And so she's probably the most talented volleyball player I've actually just all around that I've been around. And sometimes that you got so many options, you got to harness it in. And she's got a feel for running the offense in day one. And she, like everyone, she had some first day jitters, but she smoothed out and made some really nice decisions, especially down the stretch against NIU to get a couple big kills through our middle and Kennedy.
I know you're in season mode, but I apologize for asking you about 2024. Does the addition of the Pacific time zone to the league next year affect A, how you recruit, or B, how you prepare?
Good question. I think we get that question a lot, and it's one of those things that's hard to answer until we actually get a schedule to see how that would go. We definitely had our trips out west. I think it's more of an impact for them at the moment, where they're going to have to come out to our time zones more. But it's definitely something that's on our minds, and until we kind of see what the schedule looks like, sometimes it's a little bit hard to determine that. But I always tell the team that in season, it's very much about the season, like you're talking about. It becomes a lot harder to develop players as you go through the season because practice time gets minimized. And so I just think that as we kind of move forward in this and the realignment, that's what you're going to see. There's going to be a big emphasis on making sure it always has been, developing in the winter, summertime. And then fall time, we got to prepare for this travel. We have to be able to fly across a couple time zones, still be ready. And so it's about rest and recovery just as much as it is about executing your skill when you're on the floor. So,
Anticipate maybe being able to recruit kids in the Pacific
yeah,
time zone?
we always look there. We've got a couple of them right now. So I think we're always going to look wherever we can. It always helps when they have a connection to the Midwest or to Illinois. But the chance to play in the Big Ten is a big one, and just as they're going to be the other way, now they may have a better shot at kids in our region. We have to make sure we search high and low to try to find whoever we can that can play here.
Any other questions? Okay.
All right, thank you.